I am fired up.
The snap, the put down, the swing of the leg. It is on its way. It is good! Cincinnati wins the American Championship.
Here comes the quarterback, Burrow, looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins into the end zone. Touchdown! What a skip! As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Welcome back. It is another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. As always, I am Aaron Smith. We are brought to you along with Jeff Howell and COVID.
What's going on?
Hi, COVID. I'm glad to see you feeling better, buddy.
I mean, I got one more day of this quarantine stuff, and then I'm out of here. I'm busting out.
You're busting out? You mean you're going to walk up your basement steps?
He's still going to be tired and going to want to nap like every day.
Is it getting old having your wife have to like lower food down to you?
Lower food down to me? I mean, she brings it down and puts it on a TV tray, and then I, pick it up. But
is she wearing one of those like full like bio suits like she's in Monsters Inc.
or E.T.?
No, I should have made her do that, but no.
All right.
Huh.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Bland?
Oh, there you are. What?
How long did you not have taste?
Started probably last Thursday. Couldn't smell what I was producing, and so I figured I was over. And then I could taste it was really weird because like some things I could taste like I had these vitamins like these
Flintstone
vitamins.
No, those are not FDA approved. I had these.
This is a banger already. Here we go.
I had some like emergencies that like the vitamin C stuff, and those I could taste like on the side of my tongue, no problem. And I was eating a lot of pineapple, and I could taste that on the side of my tongue, but like the rest of the stuff, like I had a Mountain Dew, couldn't taste it; it was gone.
That's a shame.
Mountain Dew.
You shouldn't drink Mountain Dew anyway. It's bad. Drink
I can drink
coffee.
this lemonade. It's delicious.
Huh.
All right. Well, we're glad that you're feeling better, Ed.
Thanks. Hey, you guys held it down pretty well last week with Taryn.
Yeah, but we still missed the number one producer, Cincinnati.
You guys started late. But
we started a little bit late tonight too.
Taryn was having some things happening with this. He had never been on StreamYard before. He was trying to.
We got him in. Set up.
Get the right allowances for the mic and the camera and all that stuff. Come on, man.
Actually, it was really weird because I thought you guys had just decided not to do a show. So I hopped onto YouTube. I was like, I'm going to go watch an old show. Pop it up on the big old TV here. And then I was like, when the hell did they do a show with Taryn Bland and I was not there? Like, and when were they going to tell me this? And I realized it was live.
I have no words.
Ed was so mad he couldn't talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, I was mad. Yeah, because I wanted to talk to him about wrestling.
He said he'd hop back on anytime, man. I mean, we literally booked him like 20 minutes before the show.
Yeah. It was almost going to have to be another Chad Saves the Pod, but instead, Taryn saved the pod.
Taryn did save the pod.
I did see Chad did hop on, though, for a little bit.
He was in the comments.
Yeah, in the comments, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So, like Jeff said, glad you're feeling a little bit better.
Thank you.
Tip-top shape.
Thank you.
So, you live to fight another day.
Yeah, that's right. I fought COVID.
And then there's these Reds. What are we doing here?
Well, last week at the beginning of the week when I first got COVID and I was just watching the Reds on TV, it was a great week.
Maybe you should catch COVID worse again.
Not going to take that one for the team. lost a lot of vacation days. So, maybe we could just start playing the Cubs and the Pirates again.
I mean, I think that's coming up.
It is coming up.
I'm really upset we lost to the Guardians.
Unfortunately, right now the Brewers get to play the Cubs and have their nice easy schedule for a little bit longer, while we have to play a pretty good Braves team as of late, I guess, and then a really hot Philly team. So I feel like the Reds just
all on the road.
All on the road, but I really have a good feeling if the Reds can maintain this 6-7 games back from the Brewers, maybe 4 or 5 games back from the Padres. The Padres already lost today, so I mean right now the Reds are down by 3, bottom of the 7th here.
But the Brewers have to play the Giants and the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean the Brewers certainly have a very difficult schedule coming up.
Maybe that's
where the Reds don't. But the thing is if things could go sideways really quickly over the next couple games, if the Reds aren't able to salvage some game, at least if they don't win today, at least salvage a game in Atlanta and then salvage a couple out of the Philly series.
It's the Padres. Sorry, it's the Padres that have to play the Giants and the Dodgers, and because they're all.
I think Milwaukee also still has. They have a West Coast trip they have to make.
Okay.
So I mean they have some difficult ones, but the thing is right now they've got a fairly easy schedule over the next 6 days, and if things went go real sideways, you're going to end up with the Reds looking at possibly being 10-11 games out, worst case scenario. And Clay wants to bring Scooter back over here in the comments. But yeah, that's a worst case scenario. Obviously, it would be nice to be able to because then we still have 3 games with the Brewers. So that's my whole thought process is if we can stay 6-7 games back, you can close that gap to 4 games, and then the Reds have a nice chunk of easy while the Brewers don't.
So you're talking big picture, and while that's all well and good, the hell are you thinking last night, David Bell? I mean, you're at the beginning of this gauntlet
go back to the Guardians game.
Well, I mean, even without talking about that, because I think that was a one-off. It was an anomaly. It's a weird thing anyway to play a one-game series that's not even a series at all. It's just a game. But to go into Atlanta and to be in a situation where you bring in not one but back-to-back relievers that are really kind of out of anyone in the bullpen, they're struggling. So I don't know why you would go back-to-back with Hembry and then with AG. Didn't make any sense to me, especially when you're in a pennant race. You're not going to get these guys right in high-pressure situations. So what are we doing here?
I didn't agree with it either. I think there's a time and a place to use guys that need to get their confidence back. And like you said, in a pennant race, in a high pressure situation, the game was tied. I don't like going Hembry's had his issues with allowing at least 1 run, his last 6 starts or something. I think is the stat. Right, you know what I mean.
Yep.
Last 6 outings, last 6 times he's been in, he's allowed at least 1 run. You got AG, who's been kind of a crapshoot this year. I know he's had some rounds where he's been pretty dominant.
Well, and why wouldn't you have tried to get those guys right during the series against the Pirates?
Or the one game against the Indians when it got out of control,
Use them in garbage time just to get them out and get right. I don't know why you thought that a 2-2 tie was where you want to bring these guys in against a team also battling for a pennant. And I don't know, man.
I mean, you just went and got you've got Sessa, you've got Wilson's
Justin Wilson.
He's been pretty solid for us. I know. I think he's given up maybe allowed an inherited runner or 2, but you've got other options in the pen that are more reliable. Let's say that. And to go to Hembry and then go to AG was just it kind of threw me off. I know Clay mentioned something. Yeah, I don't know if it was on Twitter or in our DMs, but he was talking about, you got AG coming in and he's facing two left-handed guys and he can't make it happen. And then you go to Sessa and he, like Ryan says on his Twitch stream, if you need somebody in the seventh, go to Sessa. If you got, 2 outs, go to Sessa. No outs, go to Sessa. Just go to Sessa.
That decision blew my mind and continues to baffle me. When again, you want to set the tone for this road trip, you want to set the tone for this team in this pennant race for a series. Like, there were a lot of tones that you could have set, and I think you set the wrong tone. I mean, you set the tone that you don't give up on your guys, clearly,
right?
I mean, to a fault, obviously, and so it just, I can't wrap my mind around it, and it's just, that was a big takeaway for me last night. Is just how much that decision bothered me.
Yeah. So, like, my thing is, I feel like David Bell sometimes is, like, I know we've talked about it in the past, he kind of outcoaches himself in some ways. He's definitely got that, like, a little bit of that Dusty Baker streak of sticking with a guy that, maybe is struggling. I mean, we've seen it with Suarez all year. Not that he really had a whole lot of options with Moustakas being hurt. They weren't going to call anybody up necessarily to slide over there. So he's had to stick with Suarez. Now I really don't understand the sticking with Suarez. I didn't understand tonight, not like giving India a day off in the middle of the toughest stretch that they're going to face in the next month. Like, you give,
and India, he's young. Like, does he really need a day off? I mean, really?
And I realized that I think they double switched him in like the 6th, maybe something like that. When they took Miley out at 77
but I mean, that's the guy who's at the pulse of the start of your lineup. Like,
absolutely.
He gets on base.
Absolutely. And then you throw Farmer all the way to the leadoff role, which, like, he's been vibing in the middle of the lineup, and now you got him leading off, which is a totally different thing. I don't know what he's done today, if he's over or what, but
what a weird hit that was.
So, like, I just don't agree a whole lot with necessarily tinkering with the lineup right now. Like, they had a good flow going. Obviously, they had a great flow going in the Pirates series. It's against the Pirates. I get it. They're not exactly the greatest team on the face of the planet, but you've got a good flow going. And then it was kind of like he starts playing this weird chess game with himself, and
he's overthinking it.
It stresses me out, Aaron.
Overthinking it. I mean, we've talked offline about the analytics and stuff. Just, you go in too much with the analytics and not enough with your gut, not enough with the hot hand, not enough with, like, what you like. You can. There you go. Got another hit. Love it. But you see, like Chad said this on our podcast on Monday. You see better with your eyes than you hear, right?
That's true.
Or maybe it was like the quote was a Marvin Lewis quote. It's something like, you see better with your eyes than your ears, or something along
that.
Yeah,
quote makes more sense.
Sorry,
I understand what you're saying.
But, like, stop listening to all the analytics. It just, none of it makes it. I take that back. It does make sense, and you can do some things, but it doesn't have to be what you base every decision on. And I feel like we're almost getting away from, like, having a guy outside of the bullpen calls. Like, I feel like the lineups are made by advanced analytics.
Well, he's sometimes the worst kind of analytics follower, though, because he's, like, selectively analytical. And I know I've said that before, but it's like sometimes they ask him things like after games, like, "Hey, why did you ran so and so out there? Are you aware of, like, his very poor statistics against a lefty or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, but like, I'll stick with him." And it's like, well, are you gonna stick with him because he's hot, or are you gonna, like, die on the analytical sword?
And sometimes the analytics say, well, for their career, maybe they haven't been great at something, or whatever the case may be, like, for a long stretch of time. But if they're doing well right now, why would you just mess that up? Kind of like he's done this with Kyle Farmer.
I'm a big fan. I am a big fan of the like more so go with your gut over analytics. And I know analytics have their place, and obviously it works very well in the shift. It would seem. I really dug too deep. I still hate the shift, but David Bell seemed for a while to be going with his gut and playing the hot hand, and then
as we start winning, he's like, "Oh, maybe I should switch up what we've been doing."
Yeah, like maybe I should move some of these guys around. And I get it; he's got some difficult decisions kind of to make with these guys coming back off of injury. You get Moose back finally. And so you got to kind of, where am I going to put him in the lineup? He comes in his first game and he's tearing the cover off the ball. And, right. I mean,
well, you can't answer a question without reading the question. No one who's listening knows what you're answering when you say right.
I see Chad saying righty lefty is not analytics, but I mean, kind of is. I mean, they analyze that, lefty or righty. And then that righty-lefty is a better matchup, or lefty-righty is a better matchup, however they're going to look at it, pitching-wise. I mean, there's numbers that back it up.
Yeah, I mean,
analytics.
Nick Kirby, we know.
Yeah.
Kirby loves analytics.
Kirby loves analytics.
So, Ed, what were you trying to say earlier when Jeff just spoke completely over you?
I was going to say, you know who loves analytics?
That was it? Oh, my God. You're the worst.
But we get a question from Clay out here who says he wants to know who I trust in the bullpen, and that answer would be Gibbons. Thank you.
He's pretty good.
That's a solid answer, COVID.
Hey, thank you. I looked it up while I was laying down here.
He comes out of
You
hibernation.
looked it up.
He comes out of hibernation with a good answer. Way to go, COVID.
I had a chance to I had a chance. Well, I guess I did watch a lot of Ryan Castellanos' live feeds of the game, since I am still holding to my guns and not getting Spectrum.
Twitch streams.
The Twitch streams.
Twitch streams of it. Which, by the way,
Are you a park baller?
I'm a park baller. I was one of the first subscribers of the Park Ballers before we even had emotes. But I got to watch a lot of the games. I mean, through Ryan, but I got to watch them. It was good.
That was deep.
Thank you. Also, Chad says that 1 + 1 = 2. That is true, even at Northwest.
Well, he was speaking in regards to the righty lefty stuff.
I understand that.
I just wanted to make sure you did. I wasn't sure. You've been under a lot of stress this week.
Making sure you don't have that mental fog, Ed.
Oh, I do. Trust me.
Well, I don't think that's the COVID, Ed.
That's true. I could not figure out how to get this 3D printer to work yesterday, so I gave up.
All right.
Sounds about par for the course.
I was going to print a Game Boy game.
So moving forward, let's say let's go to the next 5 games tonight, tomorrow, the 3 with the Phillies. What do you think? What do the Reds need to do record-wise over these next 5 games?
Well, I mean, at this point, tonight's not looking out of reach, but it's not looking great. If you can find a way to scrape 4, that's fantastic.
Go 4-2 over the 6 games. Well, I guess you're going 4-3 over the 7 game road trip.
Well, and I was only speaking over the 6 against.
You're talking Atlanta and Philly. Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can scrape 4 somehow, that'd be fantastic. If you get 3 at this point, looking again as we're scoreboard watching in the top of the 8th, it's 3-5. If you can get 3, that's manageable. If you walk out of this with 2, you're slipping, and that's not a good spot to be. Like, not when you're playing this 60 game sprint, if you will. I know that started just a couple games ago, to where we're playing about the same amount of time that we played last year, but you're starting behind the 8 ball at that point it was 4.5 back on San Diego. It's back to 4.5 back at San Diego, or at least going into the game tonight. And you were you're still back 7 on the Brewers. Whatever you made up over the course of the weekend, really, against the Pirates, you lost some of that ground already. And that's, I mean, I saw Chad tweet out earlier, and I know he's here, but I saw him tweet out earlier, like, this is what the Reds have done all season, is they give you something to believe in after building up, 2-3 weeks of really good baseball and getting close, and then you just slip down a muddy hill. Like,
We're in the middle of that vicious cycle right now. Yep.
pretty much. And that's but they'll keep sucking you back in.
And it's been, honestly, it's been always like, they get to Miley, and at least Miley is able to like stabilize,
Hold them at bay.
something.
Yeah.
And today, you didn't get necessarily the greatest performance out of Wade. But you also,
think they kinda-
you also can't leave a lot of guys on base like they've been doing. You just can't do it. You've got to have the flow.
They jinxed him tonight when they said at the beginning of the game that he had 7 outings of 7+ innings this season, which is his most since, I think they said 2016.
He has been a pleasant surprise for the entirety of the season.
Well, and when that's your what, 5? That's not a terrible 5th starter.
Right.
Well, I think he slid up in the rotation when.
Well, at this point of the season, like,
he's not really your 5
honest,
anymore.
He's really almost your 1. I know you've got he's been way more like. You've got guys like, Castillo, who can't pitch when it's like 3 degrees under 80 or like 4 degrees over 80. He can't pitch if it's like kind of dark outside or if it's
Let's
like
talk about
too
that real
bright.
quick.
Let's
talk about that real quick. Hey, Aaron, what is the temperature in your apartment right now?
I hate you. It's currently registering at 76 degrees.
Ooh, 70. Is that okay? Are you going to be able to work?
No, it's really hot. I'm sweaty. I'm wearing a third of a shirt.
Do you want to report this to HR?
I did. It's called maintenance. And that's why I have this air conditioning unit in my living room on the floor here, because my air went out last night and it was 80 in here.
Man, I hope you can get all your articles written on time. I really do.
I hate you so much.
I really do. With minimal spelling errors.
What?
I hope you have to blow your nose in the morning and get one more day.
Why would you do that? That's a jerk move.
We've talked quite a bit here about the Reds, and I think we've all kind of come to the same conclusion that, like, I know we've said it's put up or shut up time several times this season, but the Brewers have their nice easy stretch right now. We've got kind of a tough one, and we've got to come out on the other side of this with at least a puncher's chance. You can't come out of this 10 games back and hope to make that up over the last 40.
Well, we got my guy Harambe on the mound right now, so he's my number 2 out of the bullpen.
Really?
Yeah.
He had a great stretch. And that stretch ended about 2 weeks ago.
You'll see.
Huh.
I have a hunch for these kind of things.
Thanks.
Pretty good at this kind of stuff.
All right. So I know we had Taryn on. Did you listen to our show with Taryn with all the time that you've had off this week? You totally didn't.
I'm sorry. I should have.
I bet you listened to every episode of your boy Pat McAfee.
Not every episode.
Every episode.
I missed today.
You're the worst.
I'm sorry. I should have listened to it, but I didn't. I'm sorry.
You came into the podcast for a little bit just to cry that you weren't able to talk to Taryn about WWE fake wrestling.
Okay, first of all, wrestling is not fake. Those boys they're athletic, and women. Sorry, I should say.
I didn't say they weren't athletic, and I didn't say that they weren't athletes or in good shape or could do things that I can't do. What I said was it's fake, scripted.
Change my mind.
About as fake as golf is.
Yeah. Show me some stats and not on like a blurry sheet of paper, Ed.
Okay. All right. Mr. Blurry screenshot.
Unbelievable.
So you didn't listen at all. I'm hurt.
I didn't.
So-
I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask what you thought about our ideas about realignment, but clearly,
Conference realignment?
can you
conference
comment? Can you comment anything different than what we said last week?
Well, I'm trying to stay out of that because I just think we're going to get. I mean, I feel like we're going to get our hopes up again, and then nobody's going to take us, and we're not going to go anywhere or anything like that. Like, I did like the idea of the AAC bringing some guys in.
Well, we are the AAC, so I just
I
want to
know,
make
that's
sure
what I'm
that you
saying.
didn't. All right, I
Bringing
just
guys
want to make. I just want to make sure you didn't mean to say
I meant
ACC.
ACC? No,
All right.
I said it in my head before I said it out
For
loud.
clarification, I know sometimes you struggle with spelling, so
Well, I thought American Athletic Conference in my head,
All right.
and then thought about what the acronym is for that before I said it. All right. Dang it! Now I lost my train of thought.
wrecked.
Anyways, I thought that was a good idea, but look, we've been through this before. We've seen the tweeted pictures of the Big 12 and UC logos on a damn backdrop. Like I'm not going to get my hopes up. We belong in a Power 5 conference, but
Which one do you want? Which one would you like to see them? Like, if you had to rank, I'll say, give me your top 3, like, power conferences Power 5 that you would like to see us end up in.
you guys know I'm not good with conferences, but the Big 12, that's where West Virginia is at, right?
Currently,
Yeah,
Currently,
I would like
yeah.
to go to the Big 12.
Why?
I just think there's some dogs out there that we could compete against.
you want that over the ACC?
I mean, I wasn't prepared to talk about this tonight. I should have done more research about this
You
topic.
had all week.
You've been in a cave, Ed.
I've been
Where have
laying
you been
in a
doing?
pull-out couch that you can still feel the hinges on when you're trying to sleep on it. All right, I'm very out of sleep,
You've spent a ton of time on Twitter.
but also I am trying not to get into this because I don't want my hopes to get up.
Okay, fair. So Big 12's number 1. What's number 2?
Dead air is super good on a podcast.
Well, because I almost said something I shouldn't have.
We're gonna
But-
drop an F bomb.
No.
Are you about to Hulk Ed?
What?
All right.
Yeah, I'll say that word all I want. No, I don't know. You guys know, like, I'm getting into college football still. Like, I'm not like the biggest of the college football experts, right? Like, we're gonna talk about college basketball. I could talk about some stuff.
It's the same. Well, I mean, not the same, but
It's
still,
not the
like,
same because teams are different.
if you're in a conference, though, you'd still see the conference in basketball.
But that's also the way I'm looking at it. Is like when I look at the conference realignments.
Is that why you
I'm
want you don't want any of the smoke of the ACC because of that?
kind of.
You said it so quiet.
We have a new coach. I want to kind of get that. I want to get that ramp up going. You know what I mean? Like,
Here's the thing: is like it's not like they're gonna
It'd be like
swap
25.
over to- Yeah, I mean, you're talking a couple years.
all right, well, that's fair. I don't know, guys.
All right.
What do you guys think?
It was on last week's podcast.
We did
Go
talk
back
about it
and-
last week. So if you want to see Aaron and Jeff's thoughts, go back and listen to last week's episode with Taryn Bland.
Next time, can we tell Ed if we're going to talk about something like that, so I can do a little bit of research?
We actually did. It was in the notes.
What notes? You guys didn't even give me notes.
Yes, we did. It was in the group chat, man. You stopped paying attention to us entirely.
You're worried
Wait,
about
last
the
week?
COVID. That's all right.
Unreal.
I tried to stay off Twitter last week.
I
until-
concur, Stonewall. The Big 12 won't be a power conference after their contract renewal with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. I think that's the way it's going to go down, and we talked about that last week, that the Big 12 probably is going to end up dissolving, and you're going to see everybody kind of just scavenge at the leftover 8, if you will.
I don't know if Chad's still in here, but
He doesn't like to talk about any of this shit.
some guy,
That's
some
yeah.
guy,
Thank you.
some
All
guy
right, it's not
tweeted
the only
at
one.
Chad earlier and suggested that it would be a good idea if UC went to the Mac and experienced some Maction.
Ed looks like he just farted in his mouth.
Why the hell would we go to the Mac?
Chad just quoted it, like quote tweeted it, and just said, no. And for some reason, like when it came up on my Twitter feed, like I just started laughing uncontrollably, and then I had to send it because we make fun of Aaron and tell him he's going to become Maction Aaron, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast.
When do we?
Oh wait.
Other group chat.
Other group chat.
Guys, JT and Cam, I got you.
Shout out the front office news and Coach Cam. Chad says his mentions are a bad word disaster every day. And
he said his mentions are a fucking disaster. Yes.
Oh god, Ed is on a tear today.
YouTube that take me off for saying fucking.
Listen, he survived. He survived COVID, so he's out here just
dropping F bombs everywhere. I do not envy Chad in his mentions because I can only assume what kind of crazy nonsense comes flying across your Twitter feed.
Dude, Big East fans were blowing me up for like 4 days, and it was driving me crazy. I can only imagine how Chad feels in his mentions.
It wasn't even Big East fans; it was just Xavier fans.
No, it was the one guy was from Providence. he's like, I'm a Providence fan. I'm like, what the.
The best thing, this is what I'm waiting for, is for a Xavier fan to get one of those big like fat head cutouts, and it'll be Ed's head at like the crosstown shootout.
I'm afraid
his Twitter picture.
At one point, all they were doing is just grabbing my Twitter picture and retweeting it and tagging me in it. I'm like, what does this mean? What does it mean? Like, is this some sort of voodoo BS that you guys are putting on me right now? Like, what does this mean?
They did come at you pretty hard, Ed.
So
he's like, who squints in a picture when they're wearing sunglasses? I was like, who? How do you know?
I don't know who started it, but I know Levitard would always, like, anytime they were talking about like their comments, they're scrolling through and they're just like big fat white face, big fat white face, big fat white face. So they would take the picture of somebody's profile picture and just enlarge it to where it was just a big fat white face. And so that is essentially what they were doing to you. And just, I mean, it's not the most flattering picture that you have as your Twitter profile picture.
It's actually a pretty good picture.
I mean, go ahead, Ed.
I don't know what happened.
Okay. I mean, I just, Chad, if for nothing else, you should get verified so that you can filter out all that nonsense from your timeline. Although, I don't know, maybe a lot of it comes from verified users. I don't know, but I can't imagine much of it does.
Unbelievable.
We did get there, by the way. We got denied.
Maybe one day.
So we I did go to practice though on Saturday. I was at Camp Higher Ground. Man, Chicken Monterey was just chef's kiss. Mwah.
I heard that, and I heard the source. Chad said, "People say," and then at the end of it, he said, "Those people are me." So
that's great.
Insert name and a bunch of numbers. Yeah. Like it really, if there's any food suggestion that comes up at like a sporting thing or anything else, and Chad vouches for it, then it's probably.
Well, they had the only thing that wasn't good, and I will say this: the tomatoes were lacking that like soft tomato goodness, and I don't know if it's bad season for tomatoes this season or whatever the case may be. Whatever, that's being nitpicky, if you will. But a chicken sandwich on a croissant, man, with the homemade ranch, the homemade bacon ranch. Whew.
Is it grilled chicken or is it like?
Oh no, this was breaded chicken.
Like,
chicken patty.
And you had to get your own like sliced cheese, and so like if that would have been like maybe slightly melted on there, could have been a little bit better, but it was still phenomenal.
Okay. Sounds good.
And that was Camp Higher Ground.
Yeah, then Aaron went and had a Monterey Chicken Sandwich and came home.
I ate so much more than that though that day. Like they had rotini bake, they had the Bosco stick.
Oh,
dude, when you said that on,
you can order Bosco sticks like by the case.
Fire.
Dude, don't even order them. my son's school district, even though we didn't sign up for like a food plan or anything, every Friday they send home food with the kids, and every Friday there's at least 4 Bosco sticks in there and the square pizza.
So is this like Halloween where you just raid your kids' food stash?
They're not going to eat it. My kids eat chicken nuggets and hot dogs.
Okay, fair enough. So, Aaron, how was the football at Campfire Ground?
Well, and I did make it again on yesterday on.
So
on
you've
Tuesday.
been 2 days.
Correct.
All right.
So defense is out of control. Good. Last night offense struggled quite a bit, especially when the sun went down. Campfire Ground doesn't have necessarily the best lit field, but it get out of here. Tie game.
Votto just bang again.
He did.
There
you know
he
what's
is.
awesome is I could hear it through my headphones through your mic, and Joey Votto just came up to bat.
You're welcome.
But Sadak is
I was
so
about to tell you to
loud.
turn it down, but
Sadak is literally so loud that I could hear it.
I mean, it was a big moment. It's the top of the 9th, and you just tied the
love it.
game.
I love
It's
it.
huge.
You gotta love
Huge.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I was just talking about how this wasn't looking good, and your leader steps up. Anyway, yeah, the offense struggled last night, but they did have some great plays. Lenny Taylor's been having a hell of a camp thus far in Josh Wiley's absence, so that's been promising. This receiver core is outrageous. Alec Pierce beat Sauce a couple times last night. Now, Sauce is coming out and saying that it was a sack on the play, but they can't hit the quarterback, so it didn't count. But he was real upset. Alec Pierce was in his face so this was coming after Alec Pierce made a catch where it looked like he probably on a replay may have had the toe touch as he's falling out of bounds. The referees that were there, I'm not sure where they came from. I had asked if they were AAC refs or Justin Williams told me he thought that they were probably high school refs,
like local Indiana high school refs.
Yeah. But they ruled him out on the one catch, so they were kind of upping each other's girls a little bit, just talking shit, and it was fantastic. And then you see Pierce just outright beat Sauce, and Sauce was still, after practice was over, just pleading his case about how it was a sack, how he still hasn't been beat, how he's going to sleep at night knowing that it was still a sack, and it was hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. But they're proving to be quite a 1-2 punch, like just going at each other. And that said, if Alec Pierce is doing this to Sauce, because we all know what Sauce brings to the table, but if Alec Pierce is able to take this offense to that type of a level, it's going to be really, really interesting. Got to see a little bit more out of the running backs last night than I had on Saturday. Ethan Wright is kind of a dog, especially
Dog.
especially at 6'1", like just being a tall, different style running back than like maybe we're accustomed to, especially looking at Jerome Ford and Charles McClelland. Just a different look.
Dog.
That video was hysterical.
It is. It's the greatest video ever.
And like I said, man, I can't say enough about how deep this receiving core has been, but that's without even getting into the defense, and the defense has just been lights out. Like first team D is.
It was like you said on your podcast on Monday night.
Mhm.
It's like you get kind of nervous. Is the offense really that good, or is the defense just not good? You know what I mean? Like you kind of wonder, like,
I think you got it flip flopped.
Well, I mean, it can go both ways.
Yeah.
It could go both ways.
I mean, I'm not.
I got flip flop. I got flip flop. Yep.
I'm not actually concerned about the defense not being good because I don't think that's a thing.
Dan Horde tweeted out that Myjai Sanders looked unblockable.
Well, and that's not uncommon in the 2 practices that I've seen. I mean, it's absurd how good he is coming off that edge. I mean, just standing near him, especially when you're, at higher ground where they don't really they have the media standing back, but you're still within, I don't know, 3-4 feet of these guys all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Myjai's just a huge dude, and he's long, and I expect him to have a very, very good year.
Okay, so
I'm excited.
before we get into the star of the show necessarily, how did Evan Prater look? Did you see a lot of him taking any
Yeah.
snaps or?
Prater's taking plenty of snaps. His deep balls, it's pretty. I know Chad's talked on our other podcast at length about just while his 6 feet, not 3 or 4 feet. I guess it kind of depends on where the play is developing and when they're trying to like slide on the turf and they're like, you have to move out of the way. But
Rookie.
wait, that's fine. It's true, but
Sure.
it's my first higher ground. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, Prater is he's struggled with placement. The ball is pretty, but he struggled a little bit with placement. And like I said last night, when the sun went down, everybody struggled to just have eyes on the ball. I think we were kind of talking about that with the media members that were standing there together, and I mean, I wouldn't put too much into it. I mean, Luke even said in his after game presser that he wasn't too awful worried about the drops. I think he has to say things like that, but he's not going to come out and be like, "Yeah, I'm worried about it." But
you were speaking about other members of the media. At one point, Justin Williams tweeted out a video of practice, and they were playing country music in the background. How did you handle that?
My head exploded, and it got better when I just went and had some free shaved ice. But
you got shaved ice too?
Yeah.
Is it Kona ice?
They had a truck that pulled back to practice afterwards,
like a Kona ice truck.
Like once the team all had theirs.
Damn, I really want a smoothie. You want a smoothie? I want a smoothie too.
There were. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think we deserve a smoothie.
But there were a couple extras there for us.
Were there any freshmen that stuck out to you as like, you know, that kid's gonna be good, or you know what I mean? Like that.
On Saturday, Will Pauling was a dog on Saturday.
The wide receiver, right?
Correct. And he stood out at the spring game as well. He had the last touchdown of the game in the spring game.
Okay.
And you know, he's just got a different look to him out of the slot than Trey Tucker does. Like Trey Tucker gets his separation and has great hands. He may be pound for pound the strongest guy on the field at any given moment, believe it or not, as a receiver. But that said, Will Pauling just continues to get separation and then has an extra gear after that. Like it's crazy. So he's certainly shown some things, some looks. And like I said, I mean, with Ethan Wright, you know, that's, you know, kind of a different guy too that we haven't gotten to see come out of the backfield. Got to see quite a bit of Corleone last night. Dante Corleone out of Coleraine, the defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big boy. He is just a gap filler. He was running with the twos quite a bit. So that's a little interesting. Not all night, but he certainly took some snaps there at the with the twos. So it was just I don't know. I guess this would probably be the freshman that stuck out. Brady Lichtenberg has looked like a freshman quarterback, but good to see a kid back there who's not Evan Prater and Desmond Ridder. So we know that we at least have somebody should, you know, the unthinkable happen like it did when I think Claris took the field initially. I believe he was third guy off the bench that year, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah. Yes.
So, just you know, the freshmen they look good, but that's because this is the best class that UC's ever had. So they all look big. They all look like they belong there. But it's just a matter of getting some of those game time reps. I was super excited to see like Drew Donnelly, but he still looks like he's figuring it out. And you've seen some of that with
how fast does he look in person?
it's not been anything that's really stood out, but I think that some of that has been just him getting accustomed to. I don't know if it's getting accustomed to the schemes or getting accustomed to the speed of the game or what the case may be, but he's just kind of looks like a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, for folks that don't know, he's a very, very fast track athlete.
Correct.
Out of
a family of track athletes.
Out of a family of track athletes. So and we know, like, sometimes that doesn't always translate necessarily over to football field. His cousin is Matthew Bowling. If also most people probably don't necessarily know who he is, but he's a track athlete at Georgia and ran right around 10 seconds for the 100 when he was in high school.
You don't like
so
Georgia?
They are very fast individuals, and it'd be nice to see that kind of translate over. But obviously, if it's kind of one of those, they look like freshmen. But
I'm gonna have to ask you to refrain from talking about Georgia on this podcast.
I hear you.
Jacob Dingle, I believe he's the freshman brother. Hang on, I can tell you here in a second.
We are getting demonetized.
Yeah, we're gonna get FCC violation.
We're getting demonetized.
Yeah, there's a nipple on the podcast.
Oh, that's fine. It doesn't show yours on here.
Our video, our video likes might pop up. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Jacob Dingle had an interception last night, and I think he's the brother that's the freshman. But
okay. All right. Well, favorite moment from high ground that
Jack's the freshman. Dang it, Jacob's the older brother. He's the Spicoli.
All right. Favorite moment from high ground that's not Monterey Chicken related.
Tacos.
So you guys will love this. So last night I'm standing there with Brent, and he points up at the lift that's right around. It's at the far side of the field from us where we were standing, and not the far side, but probably about like at the 20-30 yard line. And there is a fire on the back of the lift, and I completely freak out. And I run to Kaz, and I'm like, Kaz, he's on the phone, and I'm interrupting him. I'm like, you got to come out here. There's a fire, dude. There's a fire. Well, yeah, there was a fire because they put tiki torches on the back of the lifts, and I had no idea. I'm far enough away where I can't tell. I just see a flame at the back of the lift, and I'm thinking in my head, like, I don't want this to be a situation a la some things. And turns out it was all to do of nothing, and they all had a pretty good laugh at me because I thought there was a fire at the back of the lift. I mean, they're like 4 stories in the air. Like,
I hear you, buddy.
I was terrified.
You're looking out for the safety.
I thought quick on my feet. And I thought wrong.
I used to be the cameraman on the top of the scissors lift for the Mighty Knights. I feel you. I appreciate you for that.
Well, good looking out, Aaron.
Yeah.
Was there a favorite event that took place on the field as far as, like, you know, play that you saw that and Chad calls Aaron a dumbass.
Did Chad know about this before right now?
No, he totally knew about it.
Okay,
he said as much last night too. I think this is actually the mild version, but
I can see Chad looking at you like Red Foreman looks at his son. He's looking at you going, Chad ass.
I'm totally Topher Grayson in this relationship, and that's fine. A favorite moment. I mean, I'm a Blue Smith stan, and so on Saturday he had a catch in the end zone. That's been the biggest play of his that I've seen with him returning from injury. And I know he's been kind of just vocally frustrated when he's not making the play out there. Like, he's busting his ass out there, and that's good to see. So of course I was happy that I was there to get to see him have a big play. Outside of that, though, it was probably just the back and forth between Pierce and Sauce last night. I mean, just just to see Alec Pierce taking his game to where he's beating Sauce. And again, like we know who Sauce is. We know like how good Sauce is. Sauce has not been scored on ever in college games. So yeah, this is a big deal to him that he's getting scored on by the guy lining up on him in practice. But who's going to know his moves better than the guy lining up against him in practice?
2 questions. Does he wear the Sauce chain?
No, not in practice.
No, I don't feel. Second question: do you think we might have a Sauce chain night at Nippert Stadium where everybody?
I can't imagine that they're spending the money on anything that resembles that. No.
Just okay. I thought okay, that's fine.
I mean, you do things like that to draw people into the stands, right? I don't think they're going to have an issue filling the stands this year.
I mean, no, but it'd still be cool as hell to see what people Sauce chains on
the 2 seats that Aaron has to give up down in the second row of the end zone because he's going to be up.
I think those seats are pretty well taken by my brother-in-law and
asked yet,
and my mom's boyfriend. But maybe you can paper rock scissors with them, Ed.
What about is Garen Prater still there?
No, he was. They just announced he was no longer with the team on I think it was a medical leave. Like he's done. No longer against. I think his scholarship is still honored this year. At this point, like they can't just fill the scholarship now, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
But I know he's not with the team anymore.
It's just my Wyoming connection coming out.
Right.
I knew that whenever he came back here, he came down here from Ohio State, obviously as a preferred walk-on from up there, and then came down here. Essentially, kind of it was almost like a package deal with Evan.
There's no Northwest boys on the team,
and then he got. No. I guess he was hurt. Like that first year came down and.
Yep.
All right. Fair enough. So, good outlook then going into. I'm really excited about. I broke down. I did watch the first 2 episodes of Let It Fly.
You watched the Let It Fly?
Yeah,
I watched the first episode because we were going to talk about it. I haven't watched episode 2 yet. I know.
Good.
I've had plenty of time. I know.
I mean, you've had plenty of time. Episode 2 is a good deep dive kind of.
It's a longer one. It's 20 minutes instead of 12 that the first one was.
Yeah, and
is it put together? I don't mean to poo-poo on anybody, but like I felt like the first episode was kind of choppy. Like there was.
Have you watched Hard Knocks ever?
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't. Okay, all right, that's fine.
I mean, I think they were kind of going for that same type of feel, and Hard Knocks is kind of choppy like that.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I just felt like it went into it felt like there was like 3 different subjects, and it went into them.
Well, because they're going to continue to develop those stories through.
That's why I said I didn't want to poo-poo on anything. I figured to get better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just you have to look at the whole. What they're trying to do, because they are trying to tell these sub stories. So like in the second episode, you have like Fickle in the car with Ritter and driving out to Higher Ground. And then you go to Ritter in his living room with his girlfriend and daughter and talking about, so they do start to develop on some of those additional stories. Right. But you can't tell the whole story in the first episode on just one thing and then move to another episode, or you kind of lose your audience.
I did really enjoy the insight into Squat Fest on the first episode. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Dude, being there was
a lot of clips. Well, I know. Okay, keep rubbing it in. We saw a lot of clips come out on the internet and stuff on Twitter, but I thought that part was produced really well and like it was really good insight onto why they do it and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'm assuming that it's probably also a whole lot of, probably student run production as far. I know they have their own team of social media content creators and stuff.
They just expanded the entire media team this season, and so you're starting to see some of the flex that they have now.
It's been fantastic since.
I don't think it's
got there.
I think they have interns that are students, but largely they've brought in hired people to do these things.
What's his name from
TCU?
O Varsity.
Yeah,
I saw him in the production note, the clips at the end.
So was B Fox.
I saw that.
Oh, was it episode 2?
No, episode 1.
I'm really, really excited to see I saw some, and I can't for life because I think it was just like a random name with numbers. kind of thing that said that they like kind of seen the preview cut of episode 3.
It was a guy from O'Varsity. I can't think of his name right
Spencer
now.
Tuckerman. Chad just dropped it.
Okay.
Thank you, Spencer. He tweeted that earlier tonight. Yep.
Okay, yeah, so he had seen it, and obviously I don't follow that person, so it was somebody liked it or whatever. It's probably Chad that liked it. I don't know. So it popped up on my Twitter feed, but I was like, I'm like sitting here, and this is why I don't watch things that have like week-long release.
Because now you just want to watch more.
Like I want to see them all.
Well, it hasn't happened yet. I mean,
I know it hasn't happened yet, and that's why I said last week that I was adamant that I was not going to watch them, and then I was like, I was sitting upstairs, and I'm like, man, I don't have anything to watch right now. I can't fall asleep. Like I'm gonna. So then I watch Let It Fly, and then I'm like, I can't go to sleep now. Like, it's even worse.
It's funny being there too, because you notice the cameras, and then you just get into living life and getting absorbed with what's on the field and all that. So you stop noticing the cameras anymore, and you just aren't really like I was trying to stay out of the shots for a while, and then I'm like, I just forgot they were there. So I can only imagine like how quickly, as the cameras are around every day around the players, like how quickly they forget that they're there.
I hope they do like an outtakes and bloopers at the end of this whole thing.
Hilarious.
And in the outtakes and bloopers, somebody caught Aaron screaming about the fire on the back of the seat.
I hope not, man. Oh my God.
Chad, if
so embarrassing.
I hope Chad's still sticking around. If you have any pool of any kind and they can review their footage from up there and they have footage of Aaron screaming about the fire, like I honestly, I don't care if they even put it out as like part of a blooper reel. If they could just send me the small clip, I would be eternally
We'll put it in
grateful.
the intro.
We'll put it in the intro. It'll just be Aaron screaming that there's a fire.
God, fire!
We have Coach West at the beginning saying I'm fired up, and then all of a sudden you're just Aaron going, God, fire!
Oh man.
You know,
Oh, by the way, they didn't have taco night last night. They had I think they had leftover night. They had like Philly cheesesteaks, they had chicken tendies, they had little like personal pan pizzas, they had buffalo chicken wraps.
Dude, buffalo chicken wraps are the best, as long as there's not too much buffalo sauce in there.
It was a little soggy for me.
That's
Holy Grail has a really good buffalo chicken wrap.
They do have a good buffalo chicken wrap.
Yeah.
Do you get the
chicken
breaded chicken, or do you get like
the chicken tendies were like the same as like the Monterey chicken, and it was fantastic.
Just cut that clip in there. The difference. Yeah. Ed, that's true. You do now have a clip of Aaron screaming fire. You can just throw into the. You can cut it out of this and throw it into the intro.
Where was that? Around the 57-minute mark.
If that's not in the intro next week, Ed, I'm going to be really disappointed. If you have to go on another COVID quarantine for another week to put that in there,
Not
have
going on
at
COVID
it.
quarantine for another week.
Michael Lorenzen took care of business, by the way.
The reason I made my crazy face in the middle of all that was because he got squeezed on a strike that he threw at the top of the zone that locked him up, and it should have been strike 3, and the ump was apparently not watching the same game.
He still took care of business. I was worried that maybe he had like a balk or something and walked in a run.
Oh, no.
That's what I thought your face was. But
he got squeezed on a strike 3 before he.
Was that?
Can we talk about his facial hair? Like, does his facial hair make him look a little bit more badass than like just clean shaven Lorenzen?
I don't know.
I always, I'm a fan of it. I think Joey Votto would grow out like a mountain man beard.
He had one during the off season at one point.
Like I'm talking like a full,
a couple years ago.
A healthy.
He was at Reds Fest with a big healthy beard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And somebody asked him at Reds Fest if he was going to keep it, and he, oh great, we got to start this with Moustakas on second. No hate on Moustakas, but he's not exactly fleet of foot, especially just coming off a heel injury.
Yeah, so there's that.
Maybe we'll just get a home run here and knock him in. And he can
Take
jog
care of
it.
business. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but before we wrap up on the Bearcats, Chad did drop it in here. He did not drop this on our podcast last night, I don't believe. But it looks like heavy Jawan Briggs storyline tomorrow
I was
night.
actually going to ask you about him, about what you thought about seeing him, because he is also a mammoth individual.
Dude, he's maybe the biggest human there. His biceps are the size of my head. Like, it's crazy. The fact that he's on this team and he's on the second team, I think he'll see some rotation. But the fact that they're that deep at outside rushers, that this dude is on the second team, is insane to me. Absolutely insane. So I'm actually excited to see like the glimpses they give into his personality, because I haven't seen a whole lot. He's usually like just nose down, hand in the dirt type guy at practice, whereas you get to see like some of the like Sauce's personality or Alec Pierce's personality. So yeah, I mean, it should be interesting to see a quiet guy talk.
And we're coming up, I guess probably next week we'll is it this
Well,
week?
Saturday's a scrimmage.
No,
It's going to be inter-squad scrimmage.
I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to the Bengals' first preseason game.
Oh yeah, that's coming too. I think that's this weekend.
So hopefully, there's been some good things out of that.
Tampa,
I've heard,
right?
Evan McPherson has looked really good kicking the ball. I haven't really looked at a whole lot of stuff from there because I don't ever really glean.
People worried about Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
well, I know Elijah Ponder from the Bearcats plays for the Buccaneers, and he was involved in a fight over the weekend, I believe, on the field, and so he should. I would think, unless he's been cut from the team, which I didn't see one way or the other. I would think that you'd get to see some of Elijah Ponder with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they come or when they play.
I heard that Michael Warren got cut from Detroit.
Yes,
that's a
they
bump.
cut him today.
But Jared Dokes is still down in Miami.
And Joshua, I'm going to get his name wrong. Green Bay.
Josiah DeGuara.
Josiah, I saw he came off an injury.
Derek Forrest in Washington, and James Wiggins is down in Arizona, I believe.
I believe that's right.
There were 7 scouts there last night, by the way.
I read that there were some NFL that they were.
Yeah.
The thing I read said there were like 10 plus, but
the ones that I can recall that I saw were the Giants, the Jets, the Chargers, Washington football team, Cleveland, Detroit, and Carolina.
Carolina, home of the Tony Pike.
Well, not anymore.
I mean, really, Tony Pike is a Cincinnati native. So.
I know that. He's from Reading. I understand that. That's how I keep trying to get him to come on the show. Is I keep trying to use my Reading connection in there, but
he'll probably never come on the show because I won't let him.
My uncle keeps telling me to just tell Tony that I'm Tony Stickney's cousin, and that he'll come on. I don't think it's going to work.
That's probably not true.
I am going to shoot my shot though on that Bengals person that I was telling you guys about yesterday.
You mean that you told all of Twitter about?
I just asked all of Twitter if they knew how to get that email address. Okay, yeah. So I am going to shoot my shot on Elizabeth Blackburn.
You should probably learn how to pronounce her name better.
Elizabeth Black. Sorry, dude.
Your lips are getting in the way.
COVID mind fog.
I also have not taken my ADD medicine the whole time I've been on COVID. So
fair.
Maybe we'll just stick to you calling her Liz or Beth, whichever she prefers.
Mrs. Blackburn.
How about Miss Blackburn?
Ooh, Miss Blackburn's even better.
Yeah, Miss Blackburn.
The less syllables, the better, and alliteration might play in your favor as well.
I'll type it out so I don't have to talk. And yes, I'll have to proofread it.
Yeah.
Unreal.
All right. This is a good show, fellas.
Well, did you want to talk anything about the Bengals? I know they've had camp. Obviously, Joe Burrow had some struggles. Looks like he's figured it out, though. He was not taking any flack from whatever reporter asked him today about his defensive struggles. And he's like, yeah, but we kind of fixed it. So make sure you say that too, or something along that line. Just getting a little chippy. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I don't know. I don't put a whole lot of stock necessarily into what you see in these like preseason NFL.
I mean, he didn't play any preseason games at all last year, and he came out and
he was fine. Like I know we talked about it last week. You know,
need to knock off the rust.
Yep, knock off the rust, get it, just get kind of moving and going in the right direction, and I think he'll be okay. Literally anybody that has a knee injury like that in sports, like the thing that they always say is like after that first hit and you feel like you realize like it's back to what it was before, like I can trust it, I can do what I need to do, then kind of all bets are off at that point. So he'll come around. I mean, I'm more interested in seeing these preseason games. Obviously, you'll just like normal, there'll be one where they have the first team out there for a couple series or a half or whatever, and then we'll roll into the season and we'll see what we got. But
pretty much, yeah, they're not going to gamble with Joey Burrow too much, or Joe Mixon, or any of their receivers for that matter. Like, you just keep running the guys out there. They're going to be fighting for those last roster spots or practice squad. Run those guys out there as much as you can and let the cards fall.
See what you got that you can hold back, maybe throw in a special team spot that if you get in a pinch, you can use somewhere else. And
I do hope that the kid who finished as our kicker last year with the team, that wasn't Bullock.
Seibert?
Yeah, yes. Seibert. He was like, I think 4 for 4 today, hit one from like 50, 53, and 54. Let's keep that kid kicking fantastic. That way you trade him, get like a 7th round pick for him, and roll with Evan McPherson.
Yeah, I heard that he oh, what a play.
I know. I thought he had just hit that gap.
What a play. All right. Reds are going or is it the bottom of the 10th now?
Going into the bottom of the 10th now, yep.
I had a question for Chad.
A little lockdown action.
Chad may still be here. Who knows?
I know. I just can't remember what it was anymore, so it's not.
Now we're
all right.
It's not worth bothering with it.
Well, after this week, I think we'll be able to actually talk Bengals game.
I'm excited.
Hopefully, I'm able to make it to a practice this weekend for the Bearcats. Oh, Chad said he's still here. You just can't remember.
What it was. COVID fog.
And hopefully the Reds pull this one out and figure out a way to take this road trip.
Oh, I remember what it was now.
What is it?
Well, fire it off.
You know what I've been craving this whole time that I've had COVID? Some G-Funk wings.
That's not even a question for Chad.
From Midwest Best. I know, but it's a statement. It's a statement because he's going to understand like that craving is really killing me right now because I can't taste them.
You just said you could taste again.
Well, today I started regaining taste, so I might be able to give it a shot tomorrow. But like over the weekend when I couldn't taste anything, and Michelle's like, "What do you want for dinner?" And I was like, "Oh, I want some G-Funk wings." It was bad. I'm sorry. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten a lot in the last 10 days.
All right, Ed. We'll continue to get better, buddy.
Thanks.
But make sure you get this podcast posted like quick, because it took you like a day last week, and that's very unlike you, Ed.
I crawled out of the couch bed thing, the fold-out couch, to put that up there for you guys. Leave me alone. Because that takes time. I have to download the video first, then I have to pull the audio from the video, and the download from YouTube takes a good 30 minutes, and then you have to
I understand it.
Good job. You did it. You did
the Lord's work, Ed. Way to go.
Chad agrees. Those wings are outstanding.
Yes, they are outstanding. If you guys have not had them, you guys should try them.
Well, here's the guy Ed trusts out of the bullpen. So
Yep, Given. He's up.
We'll
Givens.
see.
It's plural.
So
But-
Givens. Said.
Cool.
That's what
Well,
I said.
that was another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. As always, I'm Aaron. For Jeff, for COVID, we out.
Bye.
Ba-dum-bum.